Hey friends, Kenji here with something a little bit different this week. Instead of your normal draft, I'm going to play some vintage. Yeah, that's right, some vintage. If you don't know what vintage is, it's one of those, what they call eternal formats. It's a constructed format. So, for example, like standard is, you know, some of the most recent sets where you play a constructed format. Vintage is basically every single set available. And so you're going to see cards like the original, you know, Power 9, the Black Lotus, all of the Mox, Soul Ring, etc., etc., etc. Anyways, this format is super interesting, super fast, oftentimes interactive, oftentimes uninteractive. And anyways, the deck that I'll be playing today is called Paradoxical Storm. There aren't any actual Storm cards in it. Sometimes you can run like Tendrils of Agony, but often enough how this deck wins is just casting a bunch of spells, whether it's through tinkering out Bolas's Citadel or otherwise, and then creating an egregious number of Monastery Mentor tokens and popping off. Anyways, it looks interesting. You'll see a lot of one-ofs, and the reason for that is a lot of the cards in this format are either restricted or banned. And so, you know, of course you can't run multiple Mox Jets, multiple Black Lotus. Anyways, let's just jump right into the first match. We're going to be playing 5 matches, and let's see if we can do well. Okay, here we are for round 1 of this vintage match. Unfortunately, we're on the draw, but our hand is okay. Oftentimes you need to have some early interaction for the opponent. Like, sometimes your opponent will just win on turn 1 without you doing stuff, but this is a fine hand. You want some interaction, you want some relevant spells. Narset can often just end the game versus a lot of decks if you can resolve it okay. And so ideally we find ourselves a red source. Although what we can do here is go like turn 1 Lotus, turn 1 Opal, turn 1 Academy, float red with the Lotus, cast Narset, and then hold up Pyroblast for any counters they might have. Alright, round 1. Opponent mulligan to 6. There are a bunch of different good decks in this format. We'll just have to see what the opponent's running on, as they have a turn 1 Preordain. I'm not going to use Mental Misstep on that. We want to save that for something like a Ancestral Recall or otherwise. And I don't really mind them just setting up with the Preordain. Underground Sea. Okay, here comes Black Lotus. And pass. It's often right to run out your 0 mana cards like Black Lotus, just because there are a bunch of cards that can punish you if you don't. So anyways, let's start with our own Black Lotus here. And then we will play that Opal. Let's play the Academy. And we're going to tap it for 2 blue right now before. Then let's float red. Let's go ahead and play the Narset. Now, notably, I could have opted to not play, rather not use the Lotus to play the Narset, but this way plays around the opponent having a Force of Will. And exactly, bam, they do. So we get to Pyroblast the Force of Will. Hopefully they don't have anything else. They have a Mental Misstep. I have a Mental Misstep for their Mental Misstep, and this is vintage, baby. Like, look at that stack on turn 1. The opponent has 1 card left in hand and a Black Lotus on the battlefield, but we've just resolved the Narset, which is, again, one of the most important cards you can have in this format. And so now we have to decide what we want to take here. Mox Jet is pretty tempting since I did draw that Paradoxical, although Force of Will is also another really tempting one, just because I already have the Narset on the battlefield, and so if they draw like a Tinker or something, I think it's probably best to take the Force of Will and just ride this advantage, because with a resolved Narset on the battlefield, it's going to be so hard for the opponent to do anything. Okay, Bayou, so they're probably playing Sultai, would be my guess. Yeah, and unfortunately that is a card that you definitely need to counter in the Paradoxical Outcome deck. So now the opponent has nothing left, and we have a Narset on the battlefield. Hopefully Narset can dig us into something good. Yeah, we'll go ahead and Narset first. Found, okay. Sensei's Divining Top is really nice. Another Force of Will wouldn't be terrible, but I think the top is a clear pick here. And let's go like, I think we want to play out this land. Then play the top. Spin the top. Oh, sorry. Preordain, then spin the top. Okay, Mana Crypt and Time Walk. Okay. Sure. Let's keep both of those. We'll top, draw the Time Walk. Let's draw the Mana Crypt. Play the Crypt. Go ahead and Time Walk, and then we'll untap with a bunch more mana next turn. 50-50, we lost the flip. Let's tap the Crypt. This is going to unlock our Mox Opal now. Look at the top three. And we're looking for like Tinker. Oh, Ancestral Recall, also a really nice one. Yeah, let's go ahead and draw the Recall before tapping. We don't need to yet, since we're going to just draw them all again in a second. And then we can Underground Sea, top, tap top, look at the top three. And there's a Force of Will, Mox Opal, and a Polluted Delta. So I'll go ahead and order the Polluted Delta here. And we can just try to shuffle away the crap next turn. The opponent only has one card off the top, and if they draw a card draw effect, it doesn't matter since we have the Narset anyways. Okay, choose heads. This time we won. And so we know 2 of the 3 cards on the top, but it's still good to look at the very last one because it might be something that you want. For example, a Tinker would be good, but in this scenario, I don't think we want any of these. We could choose to keep the Force of Will, but I think we'll just shuffle that away. Go get a red source here, and then use our 1 floating to look again at the top. Okay. Yeah, let's keep digging. Let's put the Preordain on the top. Draw the Preordain. Preordain away the Sapphire. Draw the top. Play the top out again. Look a little bit deeper. Oh, okay, and a bunch of junk again. So next turn we'll be drawing the Scalding Tarn and shuffling away all of the the mocks that we can't really use. I mean, if the opponent drew like a Leovold, oh, see, this is, I mean, they kind of have to cast this out, but this is only a Scry 2. Remember, they don't get to draw since we have Narset on the battlefield. For how badly they're getting devastated here, this game actually is going to be going on for a little bit longer, just because I haven't managed to find anything yet. Alright, so once again, look at the top 3 in case what's underneath the 2 mocks are worth it. They are not. Let's pop off the Tarn and shuffle away. Look at the top 3 again. And there we go. Found some goodies. Oh, I actually made a mistake not getting another black source for this scenario. Because now whoa, that was a big mistake. I would have been able to cast the Citadel this turn had I correctly gotten an Underground Sea, which that's just completely on me. Okay, so we'll just pass the turn then. Weird game. I mean, the opponent is still in it, for sure. Just because I have made some costly mistakes. Okay, it looks like they're going to go pass here. Let's just rearrange one more time while we're at it. If the opponent does draw something like Ancestral Recall, they can cast it on my turn. Oh, okay. So this isn't actually all that bad. They actually shuffle my library for me. And we know we don't really want anything on top, so there goes the Narset. We'll go ahead and shuffle. The one basic I have is in my hand, so we don't get anything from that. Okay, and now we found ourselves a Karn. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so we have just enough mana here to lock them out of the game. Lost the flip again, but that's okay, because what I can do is I can sacrifice my own mana crypt with my Karn next turn after locking them out here with the Mycosynth Lattice. So this is one of the combos in this deck. If you get the Karn, you obviously turn off all of the opponent's artifacts, but then with Mycosynth Lattice, you turn all of their permanents into artifacts, and so they can't use like their lands for mana. All right, look at the top 3 again. Found ourselves a Yawgmoth's Will. Go ahead and draw that one. All right, lost the flip. I go to 3, but fortunately we can, once, like I mentioned, kill our own mana crypt, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. And then we can Yawgmoth's Will. And I guess we'll start off with an Ancestral Recall. And the opponent scoops. All right, that was a little bit strange for a game of Vintage. Like, we had a pretty early lock with that Narset, but then we just didn't find any action for a while, so... that's not a normal game, let me tell you. Anyways, their opponent's on Sultai. Normally you want to bring in Bolts versus them because they're going to be running a bunch of relevant creatures. You saw the Collector Oofs, which can turn off this deck completely. Then they're going to have like Deathrite Shamans. It kills Leovolds, can kill small Tarmogoyfs. So those are worth bringing in. I don't actually like Mystic Remora versus them because a lot of their threats are creatures. It's still fine, but not great. Same thing with Karn. It was good that game, but this is not the correct deck for Karn. They're not running the mass numbers of artifacts to really blow them out there. I think we do want to bring in the Sprite Dragons and probably at least one of the other Pyroblasts, though. Just a cheap way to counter, and the Sprite Dragons do a ton of work here. I'm going to go ahead and cut the scroll. You can cut a top. I'm debating if I want to bring in a Flusterstorm, too. It's possible Flusterstorm is slightly better than one of the Pyroblasts, but Pyroblasts have the added upside of being able to kill, like, Oko or Leovold, which Flusterstorm doesn't. Fine cutting a Preordain. 2 more cuts. Snapcaster's probably fine to cut. Although, I guess I like this card just as a way to, like, block a Collector Oof if they attack. Maybe I can shave a Pyro. Go something like this. I am by no means a Vintage expert, but I do enjoy the format. I do play it quite a bit now. And what do we got ourselves here? This hand is really close to insane. The problem is if they play a Collector Oof, I just immediately lose. For one, I don't have any counter magic, and 2, I don't have any non-artifact mana. So even though we could go like turn 1 Mox Emerald, Soul Ring, top, and then use the top, because I'm on the draw, they would then be able to play Collector Oof turn 2. So I think this is close, but it's going to end up being a mulligan. Whereas this hand, yowza, is spicy. We're going to definitely keep this. The question is what I'm going to pitch. I guess I don't need the Volcanic Island here. I mean, this hand suffers from the fact that I don't, again, have any interaction for them, but I have so much fast mana and card selection that I think it's good enough. Yeah, we might see a turn 1 Collector Oof here, for sure, which would turn off my Mana Crypt, turn off my Lotus, but then the Tolarian Academy still taps for 2, so... Okay, they just have a time walk themselves, that's not too bad. Yeah, it always feels so scary in Vintage when you don't have a Force of Will in your opening hand and you're on the draw. Like, the game can just end. This is basically the only format that's not been super touched by a ton of the more recent cards that have been printed in this in this game. Alright, so they have Gataxian Probe. Now I'm just going to pass full priority since I know I don't have any counter magic available. Green, this could be Deathrite. Oh, Grafdigger's Cage. Okay, interesting. So this stops my my Bolas's Citadel from going off, but it doesn't actually do all that much. Also, Soul Ring, not a terrible draw. So let's lead with the Mana Crypt. Let's play the Lotus. A card to be cognizant of in this format is the Mind Break Trap. If you've cast, or if an opponent has cast 3 spells this turn, then you can counter one for free, or exile a spell for free or something. I don't remember the exact wording. Let's go ahead and ponder first before anything. Because we don't want to preordain and then ponder and shuffle, you know? Ooh. These are all very good hits. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do here is draw the Force and draw the Paradoxical next turn. Time Walk this turn. I don't think I cast the Preordain since we know we want the Paradoxical. Okay. Then I'm going to... I guess we're going to lead with Paradoxical Outcome here, just so I can Force of Will pitching Preordain. Making sure to float all of our mana first. Sorry, if you don't know what Paradoxical Outcome does, it return any number of target non-land, non-token permanents you control the owner's hand, draw a card for each card returned to your hand this way. So in conjunction with, you know, any of the fast mana rocks like I have here, it just kind of goes and explodes. Alright, so they had a Force, they pitched a Flusterstorm, and then we forced back. We did find a land, which is great. I can actually Brainstorm first here if I want before shuffling. So let's do that. Okay, we can pitch a land. And we can pitch a Mana Crypt. I think we want to hold Force, although I can't cast it right now, but that's fine. We do want it for later. Now we're going to go get ourselves the Volcanic Island here. Play out our Sprite Dragon, and then we can play out all of these. Actually, I guess I do get to hold up Hardcast Force of Will, don't I, with the Black Lotus, so that's nice. And there we go. Looking pretty good. Brainstorm, yep, that's fine. Have them on a nice 3-turn clock here with the Sprite Dragon. And another nice thing about this deck is, yes, we're all in on Sprite Dragon currently, but it only takes one good draw to just, you know, kill the opponent. Another Paradoxical Outcome, for example. Tinker, one of our Planeswalkers. It's just so many threats. Especially if the opponent's not doing anything post-Brainstorm. Okay. Go ahead and chonk them for another 4 here. And say go. So they might have like a Assassin's Trophy. Is it Tasigur? Do they run Tasigur? This looks like some Delve card. It is Tasigur. Okay, well, we don't care about that one. That doesn't do anything. Pyroblast, another good draw, and that should lock things up. I can Force of Will anything that deals with the Sprite Dragon, and then I can Pyroblast anything that counters the Force of Will. Easy peasy. Should be good to go here. I guess they could, in theory, have an Abrupt Decay, but usually that's just worse in this format than Assassin's Trophy, where decks are running very few basics. Alright, they do have the trophy. We'll tap 5. Hardcast Force of Will. If they have another counter, then again we have the Pyro. Ah, they messed up their Brainstorm. Yikes. Yeah, Brainstorm is a tricky card to use. I mean, this format is so intricate. I'm sure I've made a bunch of errors. They put the trophy second from the top instead of top. Ah. I don't know if it would have mattered though, right? I think we had the Force of Will in our hand already anyways. So I don't think that was going to do anything because we did have Force of Will open to us. The turn we did play Sprite Dragon because we had the Black Lotus and the Soul Ring available. Or whatever it was we had available. Enough mana. Alright, and that should do her. GG's. And now we are 1-0. Let's see if we can rattle off a few more. And here we are for round 2 of this Vintage League, where once again we're unfortunately on the draw. Looks like the opponents might be taking a mulligan. If you ever see an opponent mulligan to like 2 or 3 cards, you can safely assume they're like on dredge, and they're digging for the Bazaar of Baghdad, but 1 mulligan doesn't mean anything. So our hand's fine. Oh, they are on dredge, but they're playing the... So this is a different type of dredge. This is like green-black dredge. They're going to be running Vengevines. They're going to be running, as you can see, Basking Root Wallas. What else? Hollow Ones, I think they're called. So our hand's actually pretty weak versus that. But we do have a Preordain to hopefully dig us. And we have Force of Will pitching outcome if they do have like a... I think we probably have to counter a Hollow One if they have it turn 1. Yeah, the opponent's going down to 3 cards, so presumably they're going to have Bazaar of Baghdad and 2 random cards here, of course. You'll notice that these cards were revealed because the deck runs 4 Serum Powder in hopes to find the Bazaar sooner. So with the Serum Powder, if it's in your opening hand and you want a mulligan, you exile all the cards in your hand and get a new 7 instead. So that increases their odds of finding one of their Bazaars. So good news is Strip Mine, I believe, is restricted in this format, so knowing that is gone is good. They could still have access to some Wastelands, of course, but that is good to know that that's gone. I'm going to still go ahead and fetch the basic island here, I think, just to play it safe. But good to go there. And yeah, we definitely want Narset versus Bazaar. So let's go ahead and top. I didn't actually mean to top the Mox Opal. Whoops. No big deal. I mean, it adds extra mana for Artillery Academy, but the reason I didn't run out the Mox Opal is because the green deck, rather not the green deck, the Dredge deck runs like Force of Vigors, and so if you run out 2 artifacts, they can just kill them both. But given the fact that they mulligan down so low, that's lower odds, of course. Alright, so Strip Mine is basically the only relevant card that was exiled. We'll see what they start pitching. I think the deck also runs like Hogox. Alright, so they hit a Basking Root Walla. If they can play one more card, one more creature card this turn, then the Vengevine's going to come out of their graveyard. They did have a Hollow One, okay. So, here comes the Vengevine. And I'm pretty sure I need to counter the Hollow One now. Which sucks because I'm drawing the Narset, and now the Narset's pretty bad since they can just immediately kill it with the Vengevine. But so it goes. Not much I can do about that. I can go get Tormod's Crypt with Karn if I really wanted to, but that seems a little bit weak. I think we're just going to have to let the Narset die. and hope to dig for something a little bit better. She gains us 4 life, if nothing else, because of the Vengevine. Demonic Tutor and Ponder. Alright, so Demonic Tutor is going to be good here. Next turn we can go fetch one of our Underground Seas with the Delta. Demonic Tutor for Tinker. And I'll have just enough mana to tinker away. There was a small chance that the opponent used their Bazaar of Baghdad before killing Narset, which would have been pretty funny. Ah, we even drew another Mox. That's excellent. I don't know if they run Mindbreak traps in their main, but what we can do now is play the Mox Sapphire. Play the Demonic Tutor. Go grab Tinker. Tinker away Opal. Hope they don't have Mindbreak Trap or blue card Enforce. So it has to be exactly Mindbreak Trap that they would find here. There goes a Force of Negation and 2 more Bazaar of Baghdad's. Wow, and they did find exactly Mindbreak Trap. That's... okay. Very nice by the opponent. That's insane. I think they don't run too many of those in their main deck. Holy smokes. We might have a problem now. Great hit. As I take 5. Vampiric Tutor. Yeah, that's not bad. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's play out the Karn. I mean, I guess I go get the Mycosynth Lattice instead of Tormod's Crypt. Because if they attack me, what I can do is play out the Lattice, turn off all of their stuff, and then use Karn to animate the Lattice and make it a 6/6. So I think they might be forced to attack the Karn this turn. Yeah, they are. Perfect. That buys us a little bit of time. And now we'll end of turn, pop off the Delta, go Underground Sea. And I guess we're going to Vamp Tutor here. The question is, do I want to go grab Yawgmoth's Will? I think that makes the most sense, given our graveyard's pretty juicy. Alright, black, blue, blue, Yawgmoth's Will. Okay, let's play the Opal from our graveyard. Let's see, I'm at 4, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. Black. Let's go get Demonic Tutor for probably Monastery Mentor. Play out our fetch. Guess it doesn't really matter what color we get here. So let's just get another Underground Sea for hard casting Citadel purposes. Mentor, and then we're going to preordain. Alright, if they find another Mindbreak trap, well played. That will be nuts. That first Mindbreak trap was pretty funny as it was. Force negation, misdirection, and a Memnite. Alright, so no harm there. Now we get to Preordain after playing Mentor, gives us 1 trigger. Found ourselves a Merchant Scroll, which we definitely want to keep. And now I cannot play anything else, so we'll just pass. Mentor gives us plenty of blockers for Vengevine. Merchant Scroll's going to go grab one of our Paradoxicals, and from there, we should be pretty safe. I hope. Chalice of the Void on 0. Alright, that was a good play, for sure. That means I cannot recast any of my zeros, but so be it. In fact, I wonder if I should go grab Ancestral then instead. That makes more sense. No, it doesn't. If I grab Paradoxical, I still get to draw 3 cards, but then I also trigger the Mentor a bunch more times. So yeah, let's grab the Paradoxical here. Go ahead and go to 2. Tap, tap. I could even bounce the Mentor if I want to. I have enough mana to recast it, no problem. Yeah, we might as well. Draw an extra card in the process. Okay, now we'll play out the Mentor. And might as well peek at their hand. Might draw something else to do. They have a Vengevine, that's kind of scary. But we'll just make a bunch of tokens. Don't really care if they get countered. And I think we hold 1 now for attack triggers next turn. Should be able to win next turn. All right, and they scoop. Perfect. Ooh, crazy game. I think Dredge is one of the harder decks for this one to beat because they run so many interactive spells. In addition to things that I can't interact with, right? The Bazaar of Baghdad just goes off on its own, and then they get to start, you know, using all of their counter magic that they have otherwise in the deck. So anyways, let's cut the Karn versus them. We bring in the Sprite Dragons. We bring in the Bolts. Don't need Remora versus them. Don't need Misstep versus them. Pyroblast is still okay. As obviously they run a lot of blue counters. I brought in the Tormod's Crypts if you couldn't see. Maybe Flusterstorm is actually a little bit better than Pyroblast in this scenario. It probably is. It's a lot easier to get blue than a red in this deck, so let's do that. Flusterstorm over Pyro. I don't mind bringing in Colossus versus them as another good Tinker hit that can kill them early. Let's see. Don't need Will. Scrolls out fine. Don't need the Teferi so much. Preordain's a fine cut. And then I usually cut a top. I think this is what I'm going to go with. I guess Peak is not necessary either, but let's go like this and see if we can beat the Dredge. I think it's called Dredge Vine, specifically. How's our hand look? Not bad. I'm going to keep this. It has no interaction versus them, but I do have like a turn 1 Sprite Dragon, turn 2 Mentor. And I think we go Scalding Tarn, grab Tundra, Mox Ruby, Sprite Dragon, and then Mox Emerald. Uh-oh. We might just get killed on turn 1 pretty much. Turn 1 Bazaar, discard 2 Dredge Vines and a Basking Root Walla. Okay. We have a problem. The opponent had a pretty fantastic draw. This is turn 1. That's nuts. Mox Sapphire was a good draw for us. I guess I have to play the Mentor turn 1 here. And if they have a counter, then so be it. I just get killed. Yep, they had Mindbreak Trap. All right, GG. So turn 1, they have 3 4-power creatures, 2 of which with haste, and they had a Mindbreak Trap to hose me. Like I said, that's vintage. Our first round, we had some crazy long games, at least for vintage, and then turn around and that happens. Yeah, let's run it back. We'll be on the play this time, so that should help tremendously. Ugh, and this hand is pretty weak. Yeah, I can't keep this. I mean, I could go turn 1 Sprite Dragon, Lightning Bolt, attack for 2, but I just don't think that's good enough. I would have to go like Island, play the Lotus, Sprite Dragon, float a red, Lightning Bolt face. I would be holding up Force of Will, but that feels a little bit slow. I guess the more I look at it, though, the more it's probably okay to keep. It's just, it's on the weaker side of things for sure. But I'll go for it. All right, well, Sprite Dragon resolved. And have a bolt to the face. We just need to draw some more cantrips now, and I'm definitely going to force if they have like a Hollow 1 turn 1. Hopefully they don't have another insane start like they did the previous game. If you see some Vengevines go to the graveyard, you know you're in trouble. Alright, 1 Vengevine, Basking Root Walla, and a Squee. So they're probably going to play Hollow 1 into Vengevine this turn. Or Memnite, okay. I'm not going to counter Memnite. I would have countered Hollow 1, but just immediately they're... they've got a faster clock than I do. And they have a Hollow 1. Okay, yikes. Gotta force that. Misdirection, okay. Man, their opening hands have been so crazy. Yeah, we really needed to have drawn a like a ancestral recall there into other stuff. I'm going to hold back the Sprite Dragon to block both of these. We'll go ahead and take 8. We're not completely out of the water. Or rather, we're not completely dead. But we're going to need to draw like Ponder or Ancestral or something into the nuts. I guess it has to be Ancestral because I only have 1 card left in my hand. That's crazy though. Yeah, there goes my Volcanic. So if I take 8, go to 7. I mean, I guess I could draw like Time Walk into some other stuff and get really lucky, but holy smokes. Yeah, that's not going to cut it. All right, GG's. And there's Dredgevine for you. I mean, those last 2 games, they had some pretty nice draws, but that again, that is vintage. You have to expect those kind of games. Let's go to the next. And here's round 3 of this vintage league after getting thoroughly demolished by Dredgevine in round 2. We're on the play this time. Our hand is not particularly good, though. It's got some interaction, but then nothing else to do, so this kind of hand makes it an easy mulligan in Vintage. Oof. Again, this hand should probably be an easy mulligan in Vintage, although I'm going to give it a shot just because I don't want to go down to 5. But not a very good hand here. Let's pitch the Underground Sea. Let's start off with the Gitaxian Probe and see what the opponent's working with. Okay, good news is they didn't counter it. Oh my gosh, this is a deck I haven't seen before. Earthcraft deck. Tap an untapped creature you control, untap target basic land. Nut Collector. Holy smokes, they're playing Vintage Squirrels. This is awesome. I love it. Yeah, I love it. Nothing else to say. My hand doesn't currently do anything, but it won't take much for us to win. Like, that's a lot of stuff, but if I can't find something to do with all this mana, they will eventually win this game. Presumably this is going to be a Ponder here. All right, they're going to play out their Chrome Mox, though. Interesting. What are they going to imprint? Their Nut Collector, since it's so expensive? Yes, they did. I mean, maybe they go for Earthcraft here. Huh, okay. Alright, let's find some action. That's not terrible. Yeah, that's not terrible at all. Let's play the Academy instead of playing the Volcanic, in case we draw like Tinker or something next turn for our Citadel. Then we can play a different land off the top and still have access to Academy mana. So nice. They're pondering. That's great for us. We get to draw a card with the Remora. Although, looks like Remora is probably not going to be too great versus an Earthcraft deck. Another land. Oh no. Come on, deck, give me some goodies. Or have the opponent cast some more non-creature spells so I can draw some more goodies. Forest. Hey, there it is one. Chatter of the Squirrel. Nice. I would love to draw a card, thank you. Okay, Lavinia not the card we wanted to find either. Notably, they played a different forest than the one we saw off of Gitaxian Probe, so we know their hand is Forest, Deranged Hermit. Looks like they might be flashing back the Chatter, which is going to give me another card. Nice. Okay, I mean, we're drawing some stuff. Ponder's a great hit, obviously. Nice. All right. So definitely going to go ahead and pay for the Remora here. Draw for turn. And that's probably going to end the game. Yeah, let's just go Demonic Tutor for Tinker. Tinker for Citadel. Easy peasy. All right, Black Lotus on top. I accept. Peak. With instants, you want to hold priority in case you hit another instant underneath. Looks like they just have an excess Savannah in their hand. Oh yeah, now we get to Merchant Scroll. Go get Gitaxian, or not Gitaxian, Paradoxical Outcome. Or Ancestral. I guess Ancestral might be a little bit better at this point. No, I lied. Paradoxical definitely better since it's free mana. Given the number of artifacts I have here. And we have the top on top. Excellent. And so with top and Bolas's Citadel, if you ever see something you don't want, you can just draw it. I'll go ahead and play the fetch, though. That's fine. And then we can shuffle away with the fetch. Flooded Strand. So let's draw with the top. And then play the top with the Citadel. Go ahead and play out Narset. Go ahead and filter through those. Found ourselves a Time Walk. Okay, cast. And now the trick to do with Paradoxical is you activate the top, draw a card, and then you cast Paradoxical, targeting all of your relevant cards you want to target, including the top. And so you get to draw one extra card. And as you can see, our hand is just immediately stacked. And at this point, it's a pretty easy win. You just have to kind of go through the motions. So yeah, let's go through the motions, I guess. Let's Vampiric Tutor go to 6. Put the Mentor on top. Play the Mentor for 3 life. And from there, we simply make 500,000 tokens. And then take an extra turn with Time Walk. Easy game. This is Vintage, though. But welcome to Vintage, everybody. I'll be your host. Time Walk. I mean, it doesn't really matter what we do here. We can just pass. This game's already over. And they scoop. All right. Pretty good. They're playing an Earthcraft deck, though, which is really strange to me. Again, I've never seen that deck in action before. I'm going to assume another Mystic Remora is probably worth it. Looks like Karn is probably not great versus them. I mean, do I need to bring in Sprite Dragons as an alternate win con? It feels like I can probably just do my own game plan versus them, no worries. They are running some amount of blue, so maybe another Pyroblast could be okay as well. But yeah, I don't feel too concerned versus their deck. I don't think that's a tier 1 deck by any means. That looks like a fun deck, for sure, but didn't really hold a candle to me. Anyway, here's game 2. That's the phrase, right? Hold a candle. Hold a candle to me. What is that? What does that even mean? Describing a person or thing that is distinctly inferior to someone or something else. Yes, indeed. Okay. On the draw here versus the Earthcraft deck, and our hand is garbage. It does have interaction, but it doesn't do anything. Similarly, this hand is also terrible. Simply because I have 2 Mox Opals. If one of these was another Mox, then this would be an easy keep, because we'd have like turn 1 Paradoxical for draw 3 cards, but I think this is a pretty easy mulligan to 5. Oh, man. All right. I mean, this is Vintage. You can win with a mulligan to 4 for sure. We'll keep this. Let's pitch the Paradoxical, and I guess the Opal. As far as a 4-card hand is concerned, this is not crazy bad. I get to go turn 1 Lotus, Mentor, and hold up Pyroblast. Grafdigger's Cage. All right, that's fine. We saw that previously, and yes, it will stop my Bolas's Citadel, but that's not a huge concern right now. Mentor online. All right, now we just need to start drawing some cantrips or mocks or whatever. As they play a Dryad Arbor as their second land. Okay. And a Chatter of the Squirrel. You got it. Well, that's one of our better draws for sure. It's Preordain, keeping up Volcanic Island for Pyroblast. Island and a mental misstep. I'm going to bottom both of those. And find a force of will. Alright. Go ahead and attack for 3. This deck used to run Time Twister. I opted to cut it. Seems like a risky card a lot of the time, although when you dump out your hand, it's obviously kind of nice to have a refuel. I think Wheel of Fortune's another common one, as far as draw card is concerned. Alright, well, they don't have any blue mana yet, so this Pyroblast might not be doing too much. Okay, Squirrel Mob. Yeah, vintage squirrels. I love what they're doing. Another pretty decent draw. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and go for it. We might lock ourselves, but I think it's what we want to do here. All right, and we did not lock ourselves. I'm going to pitch the Citadel, pitch the Pyroblast, play the Mox Jet, then play the Merchant Scroll, go get our Ancestral Recall, and we can attack with both of these now. And if I really need to, we can Force of Will to get rid of or counter something relevant from them. Good old Squirrel Mob. What you got? Two mana, Squirrel Nest, 3 mana. Okay, that's fine. And that'll probably be game over. Just need to cast one more spell after Ancestral. Oh, I guess 2 more spells since they have Squirrel Nest, but yeah. Shouldn't be too much of an issue here. Okay, draw 3. Let's ponder. Pump up all of our tokens, make another token. So one more spell should seal the deal. I guess I could technically force my own ponder to guarantee another spell, but I'm sure we'll find something. Yeah, those will work just fine. Guess we might as well even draw the Mox just for one additional trigger. Even though this is good enough, the opponent is dead with just these. Actually, yeah, we'll just go to attacks. Finish the game. No need to drag it out. I have 5 creatures attacking. All of them have minimum 4 power. They can block 3 creatures after making a squirrel with the Squirrel Nest. And that will be all she wrote. Not a bad mulligan to 4. Although it helps when the opponent's not playing blue. Meaning they can't interact with normal... Well, I guess they are playing blue, but not heavy blue anyway. And with that, we should, yeah, we'll be 2-1. Let's go play the last 2 matches. Here's round 4 of this Vintage League on the draw, and probably not a good enough hand. Turn 2 Demonic Tutor is just not what you want to be doing in this format. It's not good enough. This hand, however, does have some potential. We're going to keep this and probably pitch the Snapcaster Mage out of this one. The regret here is that I'm on the draw with 0 interaction. Oh, and the opponent's playing Shops. Okay, so we might actually just lose on turn 1 if they have like a Thorn of Amethyst, or here we see a Sphere of Resistance. Shops is very, very brutal for this deck when we are on the draw, but we do have some fast mana here that we can develop out rather quickly. So that's nice. But yeah, if they have another Sphere of Resistance type effect, we are going to have a huge problem. And they have a Phyrexian Revoker. That is also a huge problem because it turns off my Mana Crypt. I don't think they're going to turn off the top as it's not super relevant. But the Mana Crypt adding 2 mana for me is huge. Okay. And let's see. I think I'm going to go ahead and spin the top on upkeep, try to find some lands. Good. Tinker's not particularly useful here. So let's just draw the Volcanic. Then we can play the Opal for 1. And that'll be our 3rd artifact, so we can actually start using things. And they have the God Pharaoh statue. Okay, so that means all of my spells are going to cost 3 more? Yikes. I don't think I have Hercules in the main of this deck. So that's basically a good game right there. Let me double check. I don't think I have Hercules in the main anymore. Yeah, I cut it, so that's good enough to scoop here. As you can see, our Monastery Mentor, for example, costs 6 mana, so that'll be game over. All right, so lesson learned. Don't be on the draw versus Shops. We cut the Pyroblast. We cut the Karn. We cut the Remora. What else? We cut the Narset. Definitely bring in the double Hercules, bring in the Bolts, and I like bringing in Sprite Dragons versus them. We cut the Flusterstorm, we cut the Misstep. And one more cut. Oh yeah, never mind, we have to also bring in Blightsteel. We can cut the Will. And we can probably cut like the Peak. Alright. We'll be on the play this time. Oops. We'll play first. Oh, it's close. If this added blue mana, it would be a certain keep, but cannot keep this hand. It's very close, though. Go to 6. And yikes, this is a really bad 6 as well. No land. We do have Lotus, but triple Paradoxical is completely useless. All right, we'll go to 5. No problem. Simply have a Mox, Mana Crypt, and Tinker. Not quite. But we do have... We do have a Hercules, which is nice. I'm going to keep this for sure. How do I want to play this, though? I want to make my Sprite Dragon as big as possible, as quickly as possible. So I guess I'm going to pitch an Opal and a Force here. Well, if I don't keep the Opal, my Sprite Dragon on turn 1 is going to be really small. Because, again, I do have to play the Black Lotus to cast it. I guess I could just go all in here. I suppose that might be fine. If I pitch both Force of Will, what I can do is go Land, Lotus, Sprite Dragon, Mox Opal, Hercules, Opal, and attack for 4. So 0 interaction. Just go all in on our game plan here. Alright, turn 1 4/4 flying haste. Your move. I got nothing left. What do you got? Karn the Great Creator. Okay. I don't really care if you kill that. Oh, we drew a lightning bolt? So I do actually need to kill the Karn here, otherwise they can lock me out. Even though I would have put him on a 3-turn clock, I think killing the Karn is right. I don't care about Sphere of Resistance. Alright, no, that's castable. Take 6. 6/6 flyer, let's go. Strip mine, I don't care about that. We've got a game plan. I can oh, I can't cast that one. You're at 2. That makes it so Ancient Tomb can't be used anymore. Alright! Turn 1 Sprite Dragon, let's go, baby! The dream. I love it. Alright, let's go to the next one. We're going to be on the draw again this time. So hopefully we can find a force to counter their first spell hoser. That was a mulligan to 5 though. Pretty nice. I'm glad I went all in on the Sprite Dragon plan. So our ideal hand is like Force of Will, blue card, and then, you know, whatever our interactive spells are going to be for this game. Okay, our hand is... I mean, our hand's really good. It just doesn't have the way to interact with an early spell from them, so... We could lose if they just have a turn 1 Thorn of Amethyst or whatever. Or Trinisphere, yeah. That's going to be rough for us, but with this hand it is beatable. So, we go like this. 1 mana Mox, 1 mana Mana Crypt, 1 mana Lotus, 4 mana Tinker away the Mox. And we're just going to go get Blightsteel Colossus. Turn 1 Blightsteel Colossus, your move, friend. Woo! All right, and just like that, we take the match. Let's go on to the 5th and final match. We're sitting at 3-1. All right. 5th and final round of this Vintage League. On the draw once again. It's the 4 to 5 times I think we've been on the draw. And yeah, looks like a hand that we can just very easily mulligan. We do have double Force of Will available, but because I don't have any black mana, it's not even all that impressive. I think if one of these was a fetch or Underground Sea, we could consider keeping this hand. But as it stands, we're going to go down to 6. And a pretty nice looking 6 here. Let's keep this, and I think I might pitch Karn on the draw. That way I can hold up Mental Misstep and Force of Will, pitching the Paradoxical Outcome. You know what? I kind of just realized I can't actually cast anything without a 0 mana artifact or a different land, but that's besides the point. Easy on top. Okay, that's kind of awkward. Turn 1 Tolarian Academy pass is not where you want to be. But that being said, one good draw step can get us there. Opponent leading on the Library of Alexandria. Not too many decks run that anymore, as it's just really, really slow. But, I mean, if I don't draw another land or a 0 mana artifact here, we are going to have some pretty big problems. Opponent's going to go for the Ponder. We're going to let Ponder resolve. If they were at 5 cards after casting Ponder, I might consider using Misstep, as then they wouldn't be able to library next turn. But they're going to go up to 7 here, and then they're going to go up to 8 on their turn, so it doesn't turn off the Academy, or whatever, the library. Okay. Alright, so any of our 0 mana artifacts or a different land, and then we can start doing stuff. Easy peasy. That'll work just fine. Soul Ring, top. And I could even go for Paradoxical here. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and draw a card and Paradoxical. And if they counter, we can counter back. But if they go for a force here, it also turns them off of Library of Alexandria, so I think it's worth. All right, they forced pitching Gush. Let's force back pitching Force. And hope this resolves. Beautiful, it did. And now we get to do some really nasty stuff, right? Let's see. Well, I guess I can't actually cast Narset this turn. Can I Vampiric Tutor for something and then draw it with top and then cast something? Yeah, I probably can. Kind of want to resolve the Narset now that we know that they are underneath the effects of, well, not having a counter. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's, oh wait, I wouldn't be able to cast Narset. Let's see, no, I wouldn't have enough mana, so disregard that. Let's instead cast top, spin the top, and see what's on top. Because we might just hit like Black Lotus or something lucky. Ancestral, Paradoxical, and Snapcaster Mage. Those are all pretty fantastic. Okay. Well, let's draw the Ancestral. Cast it. Draw the top. Draw the Paradoxical, draw the Snapcaster, and then we can replay the top. Alright, here we go. And again, because they went for the Force of Will on my Paradoxical, they don't have enough cards to activate the library this turn. Is this just like Monastery Mentor? Sure, that's whatever. If they don't have a counter and we get to check with Peak, then we're probably just going to win next turn. Ooh. Okay. Well, if they have like a Narset here, that could be a problem. Oh, do they actually have Narset? They have Ancestral? Oh my gosh, okay. So now I'm debating if I want to try to just draw with the top in response. I've already used my Mental Misstep in one of my Force of Wills though, so I'm just going to let that resolve. Okay, Brainstorm. Alright, so they passed. So I'm going to, I think, upkeep Peak. See if they have any counters. Their hand is land, 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 swords, Teferi. All right, so now we know we're good to go for it. So now we can Vampiric, because we're in the clear, and we should just easily win this turn. Let's grab our Tinker. Let's play out Lotus. Tap this for blue. Tap that for green. Sack the Mox Emerald. Go get our Citadel. And it should be a fairly easy win from here. Yeah, we'll play the land from the top. We'll play... I guess we don't want the Karn. We don't want to pay 4 life for Karn. So let's draw the Karn with the top. Play the top. Can't play the land since we already played a land for turn. So let's draw that. Replay it. Mana Crypt. We will play Teferi. Why not? Another top. Another land. Let's see. Just have to make sure I don't kill myself or something. So, draw a card, play the top. Draw another card, play the top. Lots of lands there. Let's draw another card and play the top at the cost of 1 life. Wow, I think that was 4 lands in a row. Yikes. 5 lands in a row? Hello? Okay. Let's see, Brainstorm with that on the stack. Did find a Yawgmoth's Will there, so... I guess I don't want to pay any more life for those. What am I looking for? I'm looking for... I'm looking for a lot, but it doesn't really matter. Let's put the land and the Pearl back. Let's play the Pearl for free. Float all of the mana that we can. Activate top hold priority. Activate top hold priority. Paradoxical everything. Oh, I should be doing this bouncing Teferi first. Doesn't matter. Everything but the Citadel and Teferi then. Draw an extra card. Draw an extra card. What do we find? A bunch of goodies. Found another paradoxical outcome among them, so keep doing that song and dance. Can play this for 1. Can play that for 0. Can play that for 0. Okay. Float, float, float. Again, at this point, it's entirely just going through the motions, making sure I don't deck myself. Finding Time Walk and our Mentor. What I can also do is just double activate Citadel if I really need to, but let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So go ahead and do the activate top, activate top. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cards drawn. Oh, it looks like I forgot to tap the opal. Doesn't really matter. Guess we can do that now. There's the Time Walk. And so as long as we have our Mentor, which we do, easy peasy. Now we play the Mentor. Now we play all of our zeros. And then take an extra turn. And that's how you win a game of Vintage with Paradoxical Storm. Monastery Mentor is your Storm card, if you were wondering this entire time. Why do we call it Storm? There is a good reason. Time Walk, Soul Ring, whatever. Again, just kind of going through the motions here. And the opponent finally decides to scoop. Worst case scenario, if I don't want to do all that clicking, what I can do is activate the Citadel once, and then on my next turn, since I Time Walked, activate it again. But okay, game 2. Let's bring in the Flusterstorm, let's bring in the Remora, and let's bring in the 2 Pyroblasts. Karn's good versus what looks to be a pseudo mirror of sorts. We don't need the scroll. We don't need a preordain. We don't need both tops. And we probably don't need Snappy. The bolts are interesting. I don't think they're necessary, though. Let's just bring in some more ways to interact with them. And, yeah. go to the next game. Okay, game 2 here of the final round of this Vintage League. We are on the draw, and our hand is completely reasonable. It's got the Force of Will, if they do anything turn 1, or turn 0, I guess in this case. And then on our turn, we can hold up either Pyroblast or Flusterstorm. I don't have the mana to Paradoxical yet because the Mox Opal isn't turned online, but I like this type of hand that has this kind of interaction, so... Odds are I might just go like turn 1 land pass instead of playing out Soul Ring, since the Soul Ring doesn't do anything actively. But we'll see. Good old interaction. Can't beat interaction. Okay, ponder and pass. We are fine with that, of course. Oh, hey, look at that. Yeah, now our hand kind of just goes off. Play the Mox Sapphire here. Play the Soul Ring. Play the Opal, which now adds mana. The question is, do I want to go for the Paradoxical? Because I definitely could. I would have to Force of Will using Pyroblast, though. Or sorry, Force of Will using Flusterstorm. I guess that's probably worth it. Well, let's do it. I doubt they're running Daze, but... they had a they had a Mind Break trap, which is a little bit gross. Now I get punished for going for this. Oh, but it looks like it resolved, no problem. Okay, never mind. And we even drew the Mox Ruby for red sources. So now we can go like this. We can go Soul Ring, blue, tinker away the Opal, get our Citadel with Pyroblast open. All right. And now we can cast Force of Will off the top. What a what a nasty turn 1 for us. Man, Vintage is quite the treat, let me tell ya. Time Walk. Sure, we'll counter that with Force on top. Why not? I'd rather use the card on top of my library than the Pyroblast. Okay, now we can Vamp Toot. Oh, and just like that, the opponent's going to scoop. All right, ladies and gentlemen, got ourselves a nice little 4-1 here in this Vintage League. Our one loss was to Dredgevine, I think it was called, where they had some pretty nasty draws. But, I mean, as you can see during some of those games, we had some pretty nasty draw steps as well. This is just a specialty event. Normally, we'll be doing drafts on this channel, but I thought I'd swap things up with a little Vintage, just because I've been really enjoying it, and it's something outside of the box that probably a lot of people haven't seen. So anyways, this is Paradoxical Outcome Storm in Vintage. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I certainly did. Don't forget to check out all of my other content here on the Card Kingdom YouTube channel. We'll see you guys next time.